Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, Sheriff, I want to take a moment to thank you for your statement and for your position in following the law in California, and for your statement of how it's so important that when you protect the community, you protect everybody, regardless of immigration status. So I know you took some heat for that, and I appreciate that you're looking through the lens of protecting everybody, and that you do not ask about status or require proof of citizenship to file a report or to make a call. When somebody sees a crime, we want them to call 911. We want them to report it and to work with you. So I want to start by thanking you for that. Sheriff, I also want to ask you, do you think that there is a benefit to funding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting?
I think this is all hands approach, and have you heard in the testimony today, if these systems are redundant to each other, whether it's the AM radio system, we never know, we don't have the benefit of knowing in any disaster what's actually going to happen, and the fact we would have redundancies with all those systems, I'm telling you, public safety, if we have to get the can and string out, we're going to do it to protect the public.
Okay, but it's a simple question. Do you think there's a benefit at all to funding it?
I do think there is a benefit to funding it because it may be the only resource that we can communicate over should everything else go down.
Great. Yeah, I also noticed that you were a guest on the Inland Edition, which is PBS, to talk about law enforcement for community members. I'm assuming there was a positive benefit to the community for you going on and doing that show?
Yeah, particularly as it relates to the economic engine in my county and how it works, and to be able to take law enforcement executives to understand that and know how to protect it.
Thank you. Because we know that when disaster strikes, every second counts, and right now our emergency communication systems are at risk of failing. And the next generation warning system is central to keeping communities safe. Sheriff, if you had $88 billion, would you spend some of that money to invest in Next Gen 911?
Absolutely.
That is what the answer I hope every Republican would have had, but you know what? They didn't do it. When they passed their so-called big beautiful bill, which is a big ugly bill, they really abandoned a bipartisan agreement to invest in programs like Next Gen 911 as a result of money raised from a spectrum auction. And that is why you're hearing so much about it today, because there is an opportunity. There's $88 billion going to be raised from this auction. And House Republicans are refusing to put money from those proceeds into things like this, which, as we've heard today, is life-saving. It's so critical, and it's so necessary. Just like when every House Republican voted against the American Rescue Plan. Something else you in San Bernardino County have benefited from. I've seen the Valley Communication Center in San Bernardino recently opened up, and you praised it as something that's going to help benefit public safety and response time. So thank you for taking positions and making sure you're putting safety first. We know that the rescissions at the Corporation for Public Broadcasting have put in jeopardy the mission of these grant programs to help local broadcasters serve as lifelines during emergencies. Right now in Louisiana, a station can't replace an aging transmitter, which has put emergency alerts at risk in a hurricane-prone area. In Montana, a rural station faces failing equipment and likely loss of service, leaving remote communications without reliable alerts. In Central Florida, a station has been forced to postpone critical equipment upgrades and is down to a single engineer, jeopardizing emergency broadcasts in another hurricane-prone region. Without Next-gen, outdated equipment leaves communities blind to disaster, and this is unacceptable. Mr. Wright, with CBP no longer administering the Next-gen or the NGWS grants, what happens to rural and underserved communities if FEMA fails to ensure that program funding reaches local broadcasters?
They suffer.
What does that mean?
They will not receive the alerting that they desperately need.
And what does that mean for communities?
It degrades the culture within that community. It puts the citizens of that community in peril. And that's what the public broadcasters across the United States are trying to solve to through the various projects that we work on, like FPRN and Beacon. But the funding support for the infrastructure is absolutely critical.
Great, thank you. This is why I worked with Congressman Menendez and McLean Delaney to lead a letter to FEMA, which we sent this morning, urging the agency to share a clear plan to maintain the NGWS funding for local broadcasters and ensure continuity of service to rural and underserved communities. And with that, I thank all the witnesses. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you.